A very good day to everybody. In today's lecture, we are going to understand the topic of cosmology as expressed in the Jain tradition. Every religion, every tradition has a vision, a visualization about cosmology, about cosmos, about universe. Like when we talk about science, science has shown us through the discovery or invention of a telescope how the earth is, what is the structure of the sun, planets, stars, moon. Of course, it is something which is seen. Science deals with facts, it deals with certain rules and regulations based on mathematical structures, calculations. Now, according to the scientific understanding, we live in a solar system. Sun is a center around which 9 planets are revolving. Each planet has its satellites, and Earth is a planet which is inhabited by humans. Nowadays, of course, experiments are done with Mars, and science is trying to establish the relations with the aliens if there are any. Lot of such speculations, theories are going around. Way back 3000 years ago, there was a different kind of visualization. Those seers, Tirthankaras, Sarvagnas, omniscients have talked about it in a different way. How do we know about it? When we study in the scriptures or the agamas, we understand how the cosmology or the world or the space universe has been depicted. Similarly, in Hinduism and Buddhism also, there is a particular way in which the universe has been depicted. Likewise, in the Semitic tradition, that is Judaism, Christianity, Islam, there is a way in which the world, cosmos or universe has been depicted. So every tradition has a particular visualization which their seers or their omniscience or their God has given. So it's okay to have differences of opinion. Now coming back to the Jain tradition, we get to study about the structure of universe, cosmology, from few texts which are known as Surya Pragnapi, Chandra Pragnapi, Jambudip Pragnapi, Brahad Sangrahani. So these are few important texts which talk about the universe or the structure of universe. Now, when Tirthankaras were there, one thing I would really like to say, Tirthankaras are interested in life-changing experiences. How can you make your life better? How can you overcome passions? And how can you lead a life which becomes service to society also? Once you are on the path of liberation, nothing else matters. Why does facts and information matter to us? But nevertheless, we are still interested, as our human mind is curious. We are interested to venture into something unknown, something what we cannot see. So, now another thing I would like to point out is, when the agamas were written down, now we all know that agamas are handed down in oral tradition, and finally when they were written down, it is almost 900 years after Tirthankar Mahavir had attained final nirvana. In that process, it is a fact that few groups of agamas were written earlier, composed earlier, then there is a few group of agamas, then there is a few group of agamas, then there is a few group of agamas. In those, Surya Pragnapi, Chandra Pragnapi, Jambudip Pragnapi, they are the last group of agamas which were written down. That is in the 5th stage, composed and written down. So, nevertheless, it is also said whatever Tirthankar sees can communicate only 1/10 of it. The Gandharas grasp 1/10 of it. Out of that, 1/10 of it is composed and written down and handed down. So there are lots of these changes which we must understand, which has happened through the ages. Doesn't mean that we are right or wrong. It is just a way to understand. Coming back to the topic of cosmology. Now, I'm sure you all must have seen these pictures everywhere, but still I would like to show that according to the Jain tradition, how does the universe looks. Okay, so it is like this. Okay, it is like this, as if a man is standing with her hands around the waist. Now, this is, again I say, it's a visualization. Don't confuse or don't contradict. Science is saying something, this is something. All right, it's okay, you accept. Now, what is important here is something more. What is important? Let us first understand the structure. So, as I have just shown you this figure, a man or a human being depicted is the visualization is like that, with the hands, around the waist. Now, in this, where are we located? This structure, the whole structure from top to the bottom, is what is known as the 14 rajjus. It's a huge length. Okay, it's a huge length. Just you can't imagine. But how is the counting given? It is said that the mighty, a very powerful Deva, one of the gods in one of the heavens, throws an iron ball of a particular kilo. It throws it upwards and it travels some few lakh kilometers per second. And how much does it travel? 6 months. He throws in such a force that iron ball of a particular weight, travels for few lakh kilometers per second for 6 months. That is the height of the universe. We don't go into those countings. Those all are given in the books which I have mentioned. You can read it for yourself. We do a brief introduction. So that is the height of the universe from top to the bottom. The universe is divided into 3 parts. The internal to the structure is Lokakash, and outside of that is Alokakash. So in this Alok and Loka, in Lokakash, inside the Lokakash is where all the other 5 dravyas exist. So in Alokakash there is nothing. What is there in the Loka? By 5 dravyas I mean Jiva, Ajiva, Kala, Dharmastika and Adharmastika. In the later day, in some other lecture, we will discuss about these 5 and Akasha, the 6th dravya. For now, you understand that. And this universe is divided into 3 parts. The upper part is Urdhva Loka, the lower part is Adholoka, and the middle part is the Madhya Loka. Madhya Loka is also called Tircha Loka. Tircha Loka because slightly it is tilted. It is tilted slightly. That is why it is called Tircha Loka. And right above the Urdhva Loka, that is the upper world, on the top, there is Siddha Loka. Why we call it Siddha Loka? Because the Siddhas reside there. After attaining liberation, the soul resides on the top of the universe forever, and that is called the Siddha Loka. Now, so when I talked about the 3 parts, Urdhva Loka, Madhya Loka and Adholok. Now, in Adholok or the lower world, there are 7 hells, one below the other. Okay, one below the other, there are 7 hells. Now, what are these 7 hells? Below the Madhya Loka, few yojanas below the Madhya Loka, you have one after the other hells. Now, when I use the word yojana is a term which was used in those days. Probably somewhere you find it as 9 kilometers, somewhere you find 6 kilometers. There are different ways in which in the modern context yojana is understood. So few yojanas below you have the first hell. I will just mention the names of the 7 hells, then I will give you a little bit of introduction. The name of the first is Ratna Prabha, second is Sarkara Prabha, third is Valuka Prabha, fourth is Panka Prabha, fifth is Dhuma Prabha, sixth is Tama Prabha, and the last is Tama Prabha. Each hell is one below the other. The distance is, again I say, few kilometers or few yojanas is the technicals are given. Few yojanas away from each other they are located. So the name, if you have heard the name, so it is Sarkara Prabha, Ratna Prabha, Dhum Prabha. Prabha means illumination. That means the light in that hell is like how in the darkness the jewel would shine. That is the amount of light in the first hell. Therefore it is named Ratna Prabha. Second, it is Sarkara Prabha. Sarkara is like gravel, damar, the charcoal. In the darkness, how the charcoal will shine, that much amount of the light is there in the second hell. Third is Valuka Prabha. Valuka is sand. So imagine you are going in the beach on the night and how the shining of the sand. So in that way, the descriptions of the hells are there. Last is Tama, deepest of the deepest darkness. Now, below the each Naraka Bhumi, there are 3 layers of atmosphere. Okay, so there is Dhanodadi, Dhanuvat, and Tanuvat. Dhanodadi means what? It is like a thick, clarified butter. You know that butter which is thick, like that. The layer of the atmosphere is like that. That is Dhanodadi. Second is Dhanuvat, thick air, and the third is Tanuvata. That is rarefied air, thin air. Again there is empty space. There is space. Then you have the second Naraka Bhumi. Again after that second Naraka Bhumi, you have these 3 atmospheric layers. Again you have space. Again you have these third Naraka Bhumi. So like that, after every Naraka Bhumi, you have these 3 hells, 3 atmospheric layers. Now every hell has the some kind of beings which punish the beings in the hells. They are the lower kind of devatas. They don't suffer, but they give punishment to the people who go to hell because of their papa karmas or the sins they have committed. So if there is some compared to the last hell, the first hell, there are lesser sins, and the cruelest amount of sins the person commits goes to the 7th hell. So there are 7 narakas. Coming to the Urdhvalok or the upper world or the celestial world, again how the celestials are depicted. So we go and understand that there are 4 types of devatas who are described. The first one is the Bhavanapatis. Who are the Bhavanapatis? Now the Bhavanapatis, why they are called so? They live in huge palace, huge mansions, and that is why they are called the Bhavanapatis. But where do they stay? Where are their palaces? Their palaces are located above the first hell. They are located above the first hell, and that is where they reside. Doesn't mean that they are the Naraka Jivas or the souls in the hell. No. It is just that their place is over there. Then we have the second classification is the Vyantar Devas. Okay, Vyantar Devas. In Vyantar Devas, there are classifications. You have Yakshas, Bhutas, Pishachas. There are 10 such classifications of, they are known as the Peripatetics, Vyantaras and the Manavyantaras. Now it is said that these Vyantaras and Manavyantaras, they live on the earth or few yojanas just below the earth. Okay, few yojanas just below the earth. Bhavanapatis live above the first hell and Vyantaras live On the earth, in deserted places, houses, mansions, wells, where is deserted, and below the immediately below the Madhyaloka, that is below the earth, if you say, we will not use earth but below the Madhyaloka. Now, if you know, every Tirthankara has a Yaksh and Yakshis, the attendant gods and goddesses. They are a classification of the Vyantara Devas. Vyantara Devas. So, and they come next to the human beings. So if you chant the names, or if you worship them, they come and help you. But sometimes some of the malign spirits, okay, Vyantaras also have malign spirits, they would come and sometimes they come and harass you also. So one has to be very careful. Okay, these are what the descriptions are given. Then you go above. Now here we understand that I spoke about the third part, that is the middle part. Okay, so you have the hells, you have the heavens above, and in the between you have the Madhyaloka. In Madhyaloka, in the middle, right in the middle, you have Meru Parvat, the Meru mountain. Now this Meru mountain, the base of the Meru mountain is below the Madhyaloka. Okay, below the Madhyaloka. The Meru mountain has 4 parts. One part is below the, it's a foundation. Few yojanas above the Madhyaloka, surrounding it, there are the Jyotishkas. Jyotishkas, you have Surya, Chandra, Graha, Nakshatra, Tara, suns, moons, planets, stars and constellations. Some of them are moving and some of them are still. So they have their own residence places. So what Jainism says, what you see the sun, ball of fire, what you see the moon, it is their place of residence. So there is a soul residing in them. Okay, there are souls residing in them. What you see, the stars, the constellations, the planets, it is that vehicle, and in that the soul is residing. So these are the 5 Jyotishkas, or the Jyotishka Devas, what you call. And now when we do the later on, when I'll talk about the Madhyaloka, then we will understand that every region has its own suns and moons also. But I'll come to it a little bit later on. Then, above the Meru Parvat, we have what is known as the Vaimanics. Okay, Vaimanics, Vimana, of course, Vaimanics. So, according to the Shvetambaras, there are 12. According to the Gambaras, there are more 16 Vaimanics. Okay. Now each Vaimanik has a Indra. Okay, each Vaimanik has a Indra, has a goddess, partner goddess, has its own army. So there are 12, okay, according to Shvetambaras, and 16 according to Digambaras. One above the other, these Vaimanics are there. Above the Vaimanics, you have the classification of the 5 Anyuttaras. Okay, 5 Anyuttaras. And the 5th one is Sarvartha Siddhi. Okay, so you have 5 layers, 5 heavens, and on the 5th one, which is known as the Sarvartha Siddhi. Sarvartha Siddhi is just below Siddhashila, and it is said that any jiva who takes birth in Sarvartha Siddhi, that is the second last birth. From Sarvartha Siddhi, that jiva will come into Madhyaloka and in a karma bhumi, and at that particular point of time, in that time period where liberation is possible. So if you have any jiva born in Sarvartha Siddhi will have only one birth. There is a next birth will be in any of the karma bhumis, and because that is going to be their last birth, and that birth they will attain final nirvana or moksha. So this is how the heavens are depicted. Bhavanpati, Vyantar, Jyotishk, Vaimanics, Anyuttar Siddhashila. And as we just know that Siddhashila at the top of the universe, we see it as a shape of a crescent moon. The Siddha Jivas reside there never to have no rebirth. Now let us understand one more thing, that as in heaven you reap the pleasures, in hell you reap pain. In heavens or all the celestials, if you are born, you are only reaping your pleasures. Your next birth may be in an animal form or in a human form. Depending on the past karma, you will be reborn. The birth in the heaven and hell is spontaneous, it's sporadic. Okay, it is not like a human birth. The moment, suppose you may, any jiva may be born in heaven or hell, at this moment you die, within 3 samay in the heaven or hell, you just spring up. It's spontaneous, and the bodies are also different kind. They are known as the Vaikriyak body. Vaikriyak body. Okay, that is a different kind of a matter. Just for now you understand that Vaikriyak body is a different kind of matter, which is which the jiva gets. Our body is the Audarik Sharira. Okay, this is Audarik Sharira. But there you have the Vaikriyak Sharira. Now, the last description, what is remaining, is of the Madhya Loka. Now, I just mentioned in the Madhya, in the middle of the middle Loka is the Meru mountain. Okay, here in the middle is the Meru mountain. Surrounding the Meru mountain, immediately there is a chunk of land which is Jambu Dvipa. Jambu Dvipa. Surrounding Jambu Dvipa, you have the Lavana Samudra or the salty ocean. Surrounding Lavana Samudra, you have Dhatki Khanda. Surrounding Dhatki Khanda, you have the Kalodadi Samudra. Surrounding Kalodadi Samudra, you have Pushkar Dvipa. Surrounding Pushkar Dvipa, you have Pushkar Samudra. And then you have many continents ocean, and the last one is the Swayambhu Ramana Dvipa and Swayambhu Ramana Samudra. Okay, from the first Jambu Dvipa, the 8th one is the Nandishwar Dvipa, and we know that in Nandishwar Dvipa there are 52 eternal Jinalayas, which we call Bhavan Jinalayas. That is a place where the devatas from the heavens go during the Paryushan period and offer their obeisance to the Tirthankaras. They do not come to the earth. They do not come to this Madhya Loka because they cannot bear the smell. They go to that Nandishwar Dvipa to offer their veneration, bhakti to the Tirthankaras during Paryushan period. That is Nandishwar Dvipa. So, middle Meru mountain, surrounding the Meru mountain, Jambu Dvipa. Now in Jambu Dvipa there are 7 parts. Okay, to avoid the difficulty of the names, of course in the notes I have mentioned the names, but so there are 7 parts. Each of the 7 parts is divided by mountains, and there are rivers flowing, and those rivers go in the Lavan Samudra. So in first south, in one direction, this is a circle, and at one tip of the circle you have Bharat Kshetra, where we all are residing. Okay, Bharat, Airavat, Himvat, and you have another important which is called the Mahavidya Kshetra. Okay, in the Mahavidya Kshetra, divided into 2. In one half, it is said that always there is era which was like the 4th era here. Now when I say era, 4th era, in our next topic when we do cycle of time, we will touch upon it. So in Mahavidya Kshetra, which is divided into 2 halves, so there always there is an era of a very good times. That times are conducive for the liberation. Like it is described, the Chotha Ara or the 4th Ara, always that atmosphere exists in the Mahavidya Kshetra. So if you die here and you have done so much of good karma that you may be born in the Mahavidya Kshetra, and maybe there is a possibility if you take the full advantage over there, you might be liberated. And it is also said that in Mahavidya Kshetra, at a point of time, a Tirthankaras are always present. Okay, so Meru mountain surrounding it, the Jambudvipa. In Jambudvip, we have 7 different lands. Each land has a name. As I said, Bharat Kshetra, Airavat, Himavant, and then Mahavidya, and there are others also. Each has mountains divided by mountains, rivers flowing it and merging into the in the Lavan Samudra. Now, Bharat, Airavat, and one of the Vidya Kshetras. There is a cycle of time, like the cycle of time what is there here in the Bharat Kshetra. Rest all it is like a different cycle of time. Now, then you have the Lavan Samudra. The next continent is the Dhatki Khanda. Again in Dhatki Khanda, it is like similar what we have here in the Jambudvipa. So you have, and the names are same, okay. So all the 7 names are repeated there. Then you have the Kalodadi Samudra, and then you have the Pushkar Dvipa. Now Pushkar Dvipa is cut into half. Internal Pushkar Dvipa, external Pushkar Dvipa. That half Pushkar Dvipa, how it is cut half, there is a mountain range which is surrounding the, in between the Pushkar Dvipa, there is this whole mountain range which makes it into 2 parts. Internal Pushkar Dvipa, external Pushkar Dvipa. Again the names of the places which are there in Bharat Kshetra, they are same. Jambudvip, Bharata, Airavata, Mahavidya. Now, what is important is Jambudvip, Dhatki Khanda, and half Pushkar Dvip. This is known as the Adhi Dvipa. Adhi because Pushkar is a half. Okay, so Jambudvip 1, Dhatki Khand 2, and Ardha Pushkar Dvip. Secondly, there are 15 karma bhumis. Which 15? So you have here in Bharata, then you have Bharat, Airavata, and you have Mahavidya Kshetra, and in that also there are 2. Similarly, 5 of Airavat and 5 of Dhatki Khand and 5 of Pushkar. So these 5 chunk of lands, 5 in each, they are karma bhumis. Why karma bhumis? Because from that liberation is possible, and the rest are akarma bhumis. There always the yuglic stays. The yuglic meaning the twins stay. Always there are, they don't have to work. You don't have to work. There is no hard work, meaning there is no religion also. There is no effort for morality. There is no effort for religion. You only reap the fruits of your karma. So it is only in the 15 karma bhumis that there is an effort, and there is you work for liberation, and the cycle of time which is there, like in Bharata and Airavat Kshetra, which we will discuss in our next topic, the cycle of time. So 15 karma bhumis, 30 akarma bhumis, and as I just mentioned that the names of the rivers also they are like Ganga, Sindhu, Godavari, Krishna, and so this is in a very very factual way it has been mentioned. So Adhi Dvipa, then 8th one is the Nandishwar Dvipa. So first is Jambudvip, 8th is Nandishwar, last is Swayambhu Ramana. So this is a description of our cosmology or the structure of universe according to Jain tradition. I would just like to mention here, this is your faith, you believe it. It is different from what is expressed by science. Doesn't matter. Every religion says ours is right, ours is right, ours is right. Just understand, okay, that your upper portion is the Devatas. Your middle portion around the navel and your pelvic region is a creation, that is Madhya Loka. And all your legs and your feet are 7 hells, we do hard work. 5 Anyutar is the 5 senses. Siddha Loka is where you liberate. Siddha means established in your character. Whether you take it factual, whether you take it literal, or whether you take it metaphorical, important thing is you rise above. Devatas, you rise above. your energy will flow once back from Anutar. If your energy is comes back, Anutar is here, okay, when you are highest of knowledge is here, your energy will go back to the navel. That means one more birth, and then it will flow out. From here you are liberated. Whether you reside wherever you reside, at the top of the universe, Jainism believes, other religions believe in a different way, doesn't matter. What is important is how you know your body. So the structure of universe, why it is shaped according to the body, is everything exists inside our body. I'm not saying the Tirthankaras are right or wrong. No, how you interpret it, that is important. Okay friends, so we stop here. I hope you read the notes, you will get more insights. And for the details, you are interested in these topics, you can go and refer the agamas which I have mentioned. So I stop here, and we will meet for the next topic, that is cycle of time. Thank you.